In the previous life, Ye Bei was beaten to death by someone for his kindness. In this life, he wants everyone who has hurt him to pay the price. The world is stuck in an ice age, and only Ye Bei has a safe house. Ye Bei lay on the massage chair, watching the surveillance on the tablet as crowds surged outside. White Lotus. Ye Bei, as long as you let me in, I am willing to do anything with you. Rich second generation. I will use all the money in my card to exchange for the meal you have eaten. Hypocritical neighbors. Ye Bei, everyone bows their heads but doesn't look up. Learning to share is so difficult. Ye Bei crossed his legs and turned off the tablet, thinking to himself, what does it have to do with me if you can't die? My things, if I throw them out and freeze them into ice, I won't give them to you. Chapter 1. Rebirth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No, no. Ye Bei lay on the ground, surrounded by 7 or 8 people waving their fists at him. Severe pain swept across the body. Shenanwen, why are you lying to me? The roar of Ye Bei spread throughout the living room. Not far away, a beautiful woman with a blood-throbbing figure hugged her sideburn beard and looked coldly at Ye Bei without saying a word. The beard impatiently waved his hand and said, hurry up and kill me, don't delay my Enwenwen's business. Speaking, she also touched Shenanwen's perky buttocks, causing her to let out a moan. Bang, bang, more than 10 times. Ye Bei's head went straight down with a withered head, blood gurgling and flowing in all directions. No, no. Ye Bei stretched out his hands and suddenly woke up. This. Ye Bei looked at his hands, clenched his fists vigorously, and then patted his face. I didn't die. Taking his phone, Ye Bei was completely bewildered. April 19th. Did I travel back again? Organizing his thoughts, Ye Bei's hand holding his phone trembled slightly. On May 19, 2090 in the Gregorian calendar, a massive blizzard swept across the world due to the influence of some unknown event. In just 3 months, the temperature has dropped by over 100 degrees. The average temperature in Tongcheng, where Ye Bei is located, has reached over -80 degrees Celsius. The blizzard buried everything, and residential buildings were like isolated islands. The people on the islands were waiting for death in fear and roaring. It is still unknown when blizzard will stop before Ye Bei's death. At that time, the global population had sharply decreased by over 99%. Ye Bei took the water cup by the bed and drank it all in one gulp. Hiccup, Ye Bei patted his chest and let out a happy burp. In the apocalypse, the only way people obtain water is to collect snow water. Collecting snow water is not easy. Walking in air at -80 to 90 degrees Celsius can lead to being buried forever by ice and snow. Gudu, gudu. Walking to the water dispenser, Ye Bei drank 2 large glasses of water again. It wasn't until his stomach became a bit uncomfortable that Ye Bei remembered that he had already put on his own clothes and had to eat something good. Now is an era of extremely abundant resources, and no one would be bossed around like a dog for a bag of potato chips. Feeling his stomach full of water, Ye Bei opened his phone and wanted to order a more expensive takeout. Pulling the screen, Ye Bei felt a sense of unreality. Did you really travel by yourself? After trying to jump 2 steps and practicing 2 sets of military martial arts, Ye Bei finally accepted the reality he had truly traveled through. Ye Bei took a deep breath and his eyes narrowed slightly. 3 years, 3 whole years. In the apocalypse, the feeling of despair and suffering, humility and helplessness, as well as the feeling of being beaten to the head in the end, is too real. Until now, when I recall that experience, my body trembles unconsciously. Okay, since God has given me a second chance, you beasts, just wait for me to die. In this life, he will never hold any unrealistic kindness and must send all those ugly beasts to hell. Of course, those beasts can go to hell, but they must first ensure their own safety. There's no need to hurt yourself because of a group of animals. Now, the top priority is to raise funds as soon as possible to ensure that you have enough capital to survive the blizzard. In fact, Ye Bei can be considered a wealthy second generation. Unfortunately, his parents died early and all the property left behind was taken over by his aunt and uncle. His aunt and uncle hold the dividends from his parents' company, live in their villa, spend their savings, and live a carefree life. My own little brother, with no blood relationship, with a monthly allowance of tens of thousands, is driving a sports car to pick up girls. And for myself, only by distributing flyers all over the world for 1,000 yuan a month can I suddenly eat in the cafeteria. The gap between people should not be too large. In the previous life, I had a timid personality and dared not speak out. Even in times of chaos, my aunt's family kept sucking blood, providing for these two old trash and a little trash. In this lifetime, he wants to retrieve everything. For the inheritance left by his parents, Ye Bei probably has some points in his heart. Firstly, it's cash, about 6 or 7 million, which should have been squandered by my aunt's family. Secondly, it is the company. After the parents passed away, my aunt entrusted the company to a professional manager for management. Currently, it is operating well, with a market value of about 30 million yuan and an annual dividend of about 2 million yuan. I own 70% of the company's equity, and the dividends are all taken away by my aunt's family. Thirdly, there are two properties. One is a villa located in the city center with a market value of over 20 million yuan, and the other is the old dilapidated mansion where I live. At that time, my parents had just made a fortune and bought a whole floor of the 35th floor of Tongqing School. At that time, I was still thinking of bringing in my grandparents and aunt's family, one house at a time. The plan is very good, but unfortunately my aunt and I don't live there. They went to live in a big villa. Fortunately, the location here is too remote to rent out, and Ye Bei lives alone in 4 households on 1 floor. After the end of the day, there will be a major shortage of goods worldwide, so you must store your supplies in advance before the end of the day. Not only that, we also need to pay attention to the needs of the spiritual level. Big movies, small movies, comics, novels are all indispensable. The most important thing is to have a safe fortress and weapons that can defeat the enemy. After all, in the apocalypse, having a big fist is the hard truth. Gugu thinking about the future, Ye Bei's stomach started to scream. No matter how much water you drink, you can't stop hunger. Putting down his phone, Ye Bei prepared to go out and have a good and leisurely meal. The end of the world is here, what else are you eating for takeout? Coincidentally, I still have over 100,000 yuan in savings. I was originally planning to keep it for Shen Anwen to buy a bag, but now it's not necessary anymore. As for the future, there was a hint of sharpness in Ye Bei's eyes. Of course he had taken back his inheritance. Stepping out of the house, there was a thriving scene outside, filled with the atmosphere of human fireworks. Children act coquettishly, couples hold hands, and everyone's face is filled with a happy smile. Ye Bei knows that in another month, everything will turn into nothingness, and White will devour everything. Taking out 4 circles of car keys from his pocket, Ye Bei gave a cold smile. This car was a fake gift from my aunt's family. He had never driven it before to save face. It has always been stored in the underground garage to eat dust, but now it can be used as a means of transportation. Chapter 2. Obtaining Fake Certificates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ye Bei came to the famous Michelin 3-star restaurant in Tongqing and had a meal here, ranging from 7 or 8,000 to 7 or 8,000. It is the best place for the wealthy second generation to explore little girls. Hey, look at that. In the restaurant, Shen Anwen and her good friend Zhou Menglan only ordered a glass of plain water and a serving of cabbage, sat in their seats, and looked around. Through the huge French window, Ye Bei came down from 4 circles, and his eyes were bright. Zhou Menglan said excitedly, Wen, look at the grill at the front of that car. There's a red logo on it. I remember you said, what kind of GT is this? It's really expensive, isn't it? Shen Anwen gave Zhou Menglan a white glance and said, that's called RS, what GT? You really need to make progress. Such half-hearted remarks will make boys dislike it. Shen Anwen took out the cushion and began to make up. Ye Bei, a poor loser, is both foolish and naive, as well as cowardly, exuding a worn-out appearance. Unfortunately, it's hard to resist the fact that others are doing well in reincarnation. His parents left a huge inheritance, all of which were placed under his name. The house you live in is really not bad. Unfortunately, the financial power is in the hands of my aunt's family, and there is not much money left in their hands. However, absurdly, there is also an unknown relative who gives him money on a monthly basis, which amounts to 30,000 to 40,000 yuan per dozen. So, although Ye Bei was a poor loser, in order to extract Ye Bei's money, she reluctantly took him as a spare tire. In Shen Anwen's view, it was a great honor for him to have a word or two with Ye Bei. If he were to know that he had even specially applied makeup and had to kneel on the ground and kowtow to himself. And then give up all the assets under your name. After finishing her makeup, Shen Anwen smiled confidently. Through the air cushion mirror, she saw Ye Bei passing behind her. In the past, whenever he saw himself, Ye Bei would approach like a dog. This time, there should be no exception, right? To Shen Anwen's surprise, Ye Bei glanced at her and went straight to the private room on the second floor. Zhou Menglan looked surprised and said, Wen, this Ye Bei is really not something. He didn't recognize your back. Shen Anwen's eyes were slightly cold. Just now, from the makeup mirror, she seemed to see Ye Bei's gaze glancing towards her. But why did you see yourself without saying hello? Did you really not recognize yourself? Isn't it a must-have lesson for every licking dog to lock the goddess through their back? He doesn't even know this basic skill. What kind of licking dog is he? Or is it that this person just looks like Ye Bei? Isn't it Ye Bei at all? Shen Anwen thought of this reason and felt very right. Will Ye Bei not greet him when he sees himself? Which licking dog, seeing its own goddess, can maintain inner peace? Although there is a conclusion in her heart, Shen Anwen is still ready to test it. In the private room, Ye Bei was just randomly ordering the menu. The little sister Heisai, looking at Ye Bei's eyes, flashed a trace of disdain. Cut, a ground beetle with a little bad money, do you know what Michelin is? Even if Ye Bei had this meal, it was more than half a year's salary. Taking out his phone, Ye Bei saw news from Shen Anwen. Brother Ye Bei, the weather is nice today. Ye Bei lowered his head and said, oh. To kill without breaking the law, now he has already swung the White Lotus to death with a brick. But he can't, he doesn't want to die in prison during the apocalypse. Shen Anwen saw this, and her whole body was not doing well, her full chest constantly undulating. She, Shen Anwen, is the queen of licking dogs. If you're happy, show these licking dogs their feet and legs. If you're not happy, just pull them black. It's impossible to come out of a small black room without 4,000 or 5,000. Now, after sending 10 words to Ye Bei himself, he replied with one word. He thought he was really a wealthy second generation, but he happened to meet a wealthy second generation who looked similar to him and came over to confirm. He even set up a chart, thinking of himself as something. Zhou Menglan patted Shen Anwen's big white leg and said, Wen, do you think Ye Bei has already taken it home for childbirth? So, he's not interested in us anymore. Shen Anwen sneered and said, I'm not sure what kind of person Ye Bei is. He was just a licking dog yesterday, and today he wants to be the owner. He's really dreaming of eating honey. He has a beautiful idea. Let's go up and take a look. Shen Anwen picked up her Gucci bag of over 20,000 yuan and sneaked up to the second-floor private room, wearing nearly 10 centimeters of Saint Laurent high heels. Outside the private room where Ye Bei was located, Shen Anwen snorted coldly and thought to herself, it's best for Ye Bei to pray. It's really him who just went to the private room. Otherwise, just that one. Oh, don't think of your own little black house if you don't have 12,000 yuan. Just before coming up, Shen Anwen locked Ye Bei into a small black room. Don't expect to be released without a 1 or 2 million yuan one. At the door, two waiters looked at Shen Anwen and her companions with wary eyes. They've seen so many women like this, who wouldn't want to fly up a branch and become a phoenix. If it weren't for the beauty of Shen Anwen and her two companions, I don't know if they had been played with by the one inside and would have been driven away long ago. Zhou Menglan took a step forward and gently rubbed the waiter's chest, asking politely, "Hey handsome guy, is that Mr. Ye eating inside?" The waiter looked at Zhou Menglan with a silly smile. He, as a waiter, had never experienced such temptation before and replied, "I heard from the manager that the guests inside were indeed surnamed Ye." Shen Anwen's gaze changed and she immediately pushed the door in, followed by Zhou Menglan. The two waiters were surprised and when they tried to stop, it was already too late. Ye Bei glanced at the two women and continued to lower his head to eat steak. The waiter saw that Ye Bei was not angry and wisely closed the door. Shen Anwen pretended to be very embarrassed and greeted Ye Bei, then sat opposite Ye Bei with Zhou Menglan. A cold color flashed in Ye Bei's eyes. Seeing these two people made him angry. I was so kind to them, sending supplies and equipment, but in the end, I let a wolf into the house and gave myself a ride. Seeing that Ye Bei was silent, Shen Anwen smiled faintly and pulled her long hair behind her ear, revealing her snow.white neck and pink earlobes, which shone with a touch of snow.white under her small V-shirt, quite attractive. "Hey, I'm being urged by my family to go on a blind date, and I can't shirk it. Let's just go through the motions." But by now, that person hasn't even come. "You say, did someone stand me up?" Zhou Menglan agreed, "When we came here, we were still scared. The consumption here is not low, and if it were AA, it would be a lot of money." Shen Anwen answered with an extremely gentle tone, "So, we've been trying to figure out how to politely reject each other. After all, we're not from the same world, so there must be a lot of resistance. Unexpectedly, they didn't show up at all, probably they didn't like us." Shen Anwen observed Ye Bei's expression while speaking. Ye Bei took a bite of steak and slowly replied, "Oh. Oh, this just confused Shen Anwen. Your grandfather, please type back to me on WeChat and also reply to me via voice on site. Are you pretending too much?" However, Shen Anwen did not experience any physical attacks in person. Nowadays, unlike in the past, Ye Bei took it home to produce. The poor suddenly became wealthy, and his temper was a bit normal. Shen Anwen pulled her clothes down slightly, hoping to make the snow.white on her chest brighter. She thought to herself, men have self-esteem. Now that they have money, they want to take the initiative and don't want to be a licking dog anymore. Hee, I understand. I'll fulfill you. When I grasp you, you'll still be a dog under my mother's crotch. Shen Anwen took the fork that Ye Bei had placed aside, forked a piece of steak, put it in her mouth, covered her mouth and ate it, and smiled, saying, "Ye Bei, where do you want to go next? I have a premonition that we should be on our way today." Ye Bei glanced at Shen Anwen and said, "Go home." Shen Anwen immediately coquettishly said, "Ah. It's such a coincidence. I've known you for so long, and I haven't been to your house yet. I really want to visit your house." Ye Bei pointed to the plate and replied, "I still have to eat." Shen Anwen elegantly took another bite of the steak and said, "It's okay, we can wait for you." Ye Bei sneered and said, "Wait for me? What's my relationship with you? Do you have to wait for me?" Shen Anwen looked at Ye Bei, her face angry, and her tone emphasized yet elegant, saying, "Ye Bei, you're really going too far." Speaking, picking up the bag means leaving the seat. Zhou Menglan looked at Shen Anwen's back and sighed helplessly, saying to Ye Bei, "Ye Bei, why bother talking? Wen is not a girl who values material things too much. If she values material things, will she still keep in touch with you? So, send a message to Wen, say a few good words to her, and then buy the latest Gucci bag, and that's it. You have money now. I don't think 70,000 or 80,000 yuan is much to you. Ye Bei too didn't even lift his head and blurted out a word from his mouth full of steak. Get lost. Zhou Menglan snorted coldly and murmured, what are you pretending to be, poor loser? Then, he left his seat. Ye Bei looked at the fork left on the other side, frowned slightly, and pursed his lips, saying, it's really unlucky. Immediately, he snapped his fingers and shouted, waiter, change the fork. Not far from the Purple Frog restaurant, Shen Anwen and his wife were sitting under the pavilion, looking at Ye Bei who was feasting in the huge French window, their faces cold. Zhou Menglan said, Cut, what are you doing here? Isn't it just a few stinky money? Shen Anwen lightly bit her red lips and said, it's normal for a poor loser to suddenly become wealthy. But it's okay. Since this guy is angry, it means he has feelings for me. If he's not surprised by my ups and downs, that's the tricky part. From childhood to adulthood, many men were held in her hands by Shen Anwen. Seeking and giving without any principles. This Ye Bei has licked himself for 5 years. He is a good child who earns 1,000 yuan a month by working and can give himself 1,900 yuan. By the way, he also has to pay the full amount of money given to him by unknown relatives at home. At this moment, Ye Bei touched his round and rolling belly, and left with satisfaction by swiping his card. This meal is not too expensive either. TSK, it's just 80,000 yuan. It turns out that the happiness of wealthy people is so simple. If Shen Anwen were to see a balance of less than 30,000 yuan, she would probably come forward and curse loudly. How dare a stinky loser do this? Taking a taxi, Ye Bei arrived at a dilapidated alley. The alley is muddy and not a place for serious people to come. Dong dong, Ye Bei kicked the rolling shutter door on the street a few times and shouted, Lu Mouse, come out to work. A deep voice came from inside the door. Stop kicking, if it breaks, you can compensate. With a prick sound, the rolling shutter door was opened, and a fluffy little potato with a beggar's face pulled a stool with a gloomy expression and kicked towards Ye Bei's side, saying, Ye Das Ho, are you here again to apply for a certificate? Ye Bei sneered and took out 5 bright red identification documents from his backpack behind him. The Lu mice glanced at each other and looked at Ye Bei in surprise, be good, do everything. Ye Bei nodded and said, hurry up, we need it today. Lu Momo raised a finger and said, 1,001 sheets, 5 sheets will give you an 80% discount, 4,000. Ye Bei took these 5 certificates and said, I'll cover 1,000 yuan, give half first, and give the other half after the loan is approved. Lu Momo angrily said, Ye Bei, I treat you as my brother and you treat me as a fool. This is really worth tens of millions. If you get the money, give me 500. Ye Bei waved his hand and said, hurry up and work. I'm in a hurry to get a loan. Don't worry, after all these years of relationship, I can still lose your benefits. In the previous life, this Lu Mouse was directly used as reserve food because he let his aunt's son Sun Peng into the house. Some greedy, but not bad. Lu Momo pursed his lips and reluctantly entered the inner room, operating instruments to obtain a false certificate for Ye Bei. Ye Bei needs money, he needs a lot of money. This money cannot be obtained through normal channels. So, he must make the most of everything and use one asset to secure 2 loans. In just half an hour, the fake certificate was processed. Along with 5 red books, there is also a certificate of ownership for Ye Bei. In fact, in the previous life, Ye Bei wanted to break free from the control of his aunt and uncle and regain the initiative in life. I just kept caring about family relationships and didn't really tear my face apart. This time, he will definitely not soften his heart. If my aunt's family is sensible, I can let them live and die on their own. If they don't know what to do, don't blame him for being ruthless. Chapter 3. Starting to make money. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Fast and High Financial Service Center. Ye Bei arrived at the top floor of the CBD in the Old City area, which is the largest third-party financial service center in Tongcheng. Simply put, it is a high-interest lending institution. As soon as he arrived at the door, Ye Bei had not yet come down from all four circles when he was led into the elevator by the welcome guests. The person who receives him is Lu Moshu's brother, who is the manager here. Although he knew his plan, Lu Momo resolutely recommended his brother to him, and instructed Ye Bei to prioritize his achievements over his brother. Sure enough, no one wants others to live well, including their own brothers. Dong dong, he lightly knocked on the door twice and led Ye Bei into the office, saying, "Manager Lu, the guest has arrived." Lu Damao had already approached his younger brother to learn about Ye Bei's basic situation, such as driving a luxury car, having assets, having an inflated desire, and having complex family relationships. Isn't this an ideal customer? My immature younger brother has finally become successful once. Mr. Yi, how much money do you want to borrow? Ye Bei threw out 5 fake certificates and said, "Manager Lu, how much do you think these properties are worth?" Lu Dalu pretended to take a few glances and said, "The villa in the famous capital of Tongcheng has a current market value of 21 million yuan. The 4 old houses in Tongcheng Garden cost 8,000 yuan per square meter, a total of 600 square meters, equivalent to 4.8 million yuan. The total value is 26 million yuan, and we can arrange a credit limit of 21 million yuan for you. What do you think?" Ye Beizhuang looked difficult and said, "I have a business here that requires a lot of money. You gave me too little money, so it doesn't matter if the interest rate is higher. Anyway, I will definitely be able to make it back, but I need a high amount and fast disbursement." Lu De Rat also pretended to be in a difficult situation. He had long known that Ye Bei had a certificate of ownership, which was almost equivalent in value to these few houses. "Oh my, we can't do anything about it. We can only add a maximum of 1 million yuan. If you have other collateral, we can apply for it for you again." Upon hearing this, Ye Bei's eyes flickered with cowardice. He secretly took out a proof of ownership from his bag and said, "Look at these equity shares, how much are they worth?" Lu De Rat's eyes lit up, "Good guy, I'm just waiting for you. This equity certificate is approximately worth 18 million yuan. So, let's add another 1 million yuan as collateral for you. How about we give you 41 million yuan as collateral? Moreover, the monthly interest rate is only 10%, and you can repay it at any time within a year. The main focus is on freedom." Ye Bei shook his head slightly and said, "I think it's still missing." At this moment, Ye Bei's phone lit up. Shen Anwen sent a fitness photo to Ye Bei. In the picture, Shen Anwen is wearing tight shorts and her buttocks are clearly showing. The vest line and 6-pack abs are distinct and full of a sporty style. Brother Ye Bei, he hasn't been exercising for a long time, and the waistcoat line is not very noticeable. Ye Bei's eyes turned cold and he replied, "Indeed, not only is there no waistcoat thread, but you've also grown a belly. Your belly is so strange, why are you getting one piece at a time?" Shen Anwen was in the gym and almost dropped her phone in anger. "Your grandfather's, this is the abdominal muscle, where is the stomach? Your little belly has muscle, and it grows 6 yuan at a time. This damn straight guy." Glancing at the photo, Lu Rat understood it clearly. Love makes people blind, and even the wealthy second generation cannot escape such a curse. Judging from Ye Bei's timid appearance, it is estimated that he is a wealthy second generation with little ability. But now the second generation of wealthy women also need to have the ability to pick up girls, right? Money and ability, not boyfriend strength max. What should I do if I don't have the ability? Just pretend to take a loan. Pretending to be very capable means having boyfriend power, right? Lu Dumao thought he understood Ye Bei and said, well, Mr. Ye, you also know that these tens of millions of funds require strict review. Even if there is collateral, it is not enough. If you want to borrow more, the interest may be even higher. Ye Bei snorted coldly and said, interest is not a problem. As I said, as long as you lend money, I will return it to you. If you can't repay it, you can dispose of these assets as you please. I'll tell you, I'm putting all these certificates under my belt. It's impossible to borrow from your own place and go anywhere else. As he spoke, Ye Bei patted his 4 circle keys on the table and said, if you think it's not enough, how about I add another car? If you don't agree, you just look down on me. Lu Dabao clapped his hands and said, okay, Mr. Ye, I just like your fearless pursuit of love. Such a man is the most admirable. It's a fixed price of 45 million. Monthly interest rate is 15%, and repayment is 3 months. How about that? Ye Bei stood up with a proud look in his eyes and said, okay, it's a deal. Give me the money quickly. Lu immediately left his seat, hugged Ye Bei, shook hands, and said, respected fast and high super VIP customer, please come here. It seems that Ye Bei was afraid of regret, and the entire process ended in less than half an hour. Looking at the 45 million cash lying in his bank card, Ye Bei felt like he was dreaming. What a pity, I'm so rich. Ye Bei felt extremely heartbroken and felt like he died too late. Early death, early rebirth. If I had died first in elementary school, even if I couldn't be reborn in the apocalypse, my life would still be worth it. Accompanied by the roar of the engine, more than 10 black silk high heels stood beside the car, waving at Ye Bei under the leadership of Lu Rats. TSK, good people. This is. Lu de Rat looked at the agreement and felt that his life had reached its peak. This is a special deal worth 450,000 yuan. If Ye Bei pays back, he will be the top seller of the year. If Ye Bei hadn't paid it back, there would have been a price difference of 4 to 5 million yuan for these assets, and he would have been the top seller in the quarter. Once this agreement is signed, I can get at least 3 months of it myself. Even if the big boss comes, I can still look at him through my nostrils. With his arm resting on the car window, Ye Bei sighed and said, TSK, this is a good person. 3 months of repayment. In less than a month, the end will come, and you will hide in a safe house and not even be able to leave. Thank you for giving me money to build a safe house. You are really a good person, Lu Rat. Coincidentally, both Lu Dumao and Ye Bei made a move. I sent a red envelope of 10,000 yuan to Lu Mouse. Lu Mouse was playing with his phone and was stunned when he saw 2 red envelope recipients. A loan shark may not necessarily be able to recover their capital, a borrower of high-interest loans may not necessarily be able to repay the capital. And then he even sent himself a 10,000 yuan red envelope. Do they all feel like they've made a profit? So, did you also earn it yourself? Leaving Hyugo for 4 or 5 kilometers, Ye Bei stumbled and went to Longguo Bank. On the side of Longguo Bank, Ye Bei also made an appointment. The process is very smooth, and due to the high-interest loan disbursement, it will not leave any trace in the Longguo financial system, so Ye Bei is still a clean, loan-free, high-net-worth customer. But the bank has a stricter risk control system, so only 35 million yuan was disbursed to Ye Bei. At this point, from a poor loser with a balance of less than 30,000 yuan, he has jumped to become a super boss with 80 million yuan on his card. Touching the Longguo Bank card, Ye Bei's eyes were filled with hope. Without money, even after being reborn, it is difficult to move forward. Now, it can be considered as having the foundation to execute one's own plan. Following the memories of his past life, Ye Bei found the Universal Security Company. This is the largest security equipment provider in Longguo. The equipment they provided shone brightly after the apocalypse, and can be considered a reliable product that has been tested by disasters. Chapter 4. Building a Safe House. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Entering the Universal Security Company, Ye Bei explained his intention to the front desk. The receptionist lowered her body slightly and arranged Ye Bei to a lounge. On the coffee table in the lounge, tea and cut fruits are placed. Less than a minute after Ye Bei sat down, a burly bald man walked in, his sturdy arms thicker than Ye Bei's thighs. But beneath this burly figure, he was dressed in a rather appropriate suit, with a hint of a suit thug. "Hello sir, my name is Wu-Ren and I am the manager of the business department. May I ask if you have any needs?" Ye Bei took a sip of water and said lightly, "I need your help to build a safe house for me. Recently, I found a master to help me calculate, and he said that I will encounter a cold disaster in my life. So, I need a safe house that can survive in an environment of minus 100 degrees Celsius to help me get through this disaster." Wu-Ren couldn't help but be taken aback when he heard Ye Bei's reason. "It's the first time I've heard such a unique reason in all my years of work." Just stunned for 3 seconds, Wu-Ren just reacted. As a manager at the Universal Security Company, regardless of the reason why the customer wants to work in a safe house, you can simply do it for them. If you delve deeper, there is no secret to anyone who needs to make a safe house in a peaceful and prosperous era. Maybe they just don't want to say it and just casually find a reason. "Okay, no problem. We are the most professional in security. May I know your budget?" Ye Bei extended 5 fingers, and Wu-Ren's eyes lit up and he said, 5 million. Ye Bei will retract 4 fingers, leaving only 1 index finger and sway left and right, saying, "No, it's 50 million. I hope you can build a safe house for me with 400mm steel plates." 50 million. Wu-Ren almost didn't sit firmly. This kind of big order may not appear in 10 years. This. Wu-Ren stuttered, "Dear valued guest, according to the company's regulations, we need to." "I understand." Ye Bei took out his bank card and handed it to Wu-Ren, saying, "Swipe 10 million first, and it will be considered as a deposit." Wu-Ren respectfully took his bank card and immediately made a phone call. In less than 10 seconds, a little girl wearing high heels with shredded flesh ran all the way to deliver the POS machine. With a beep, Ye Bei entered the password and the POS machine popped up the credentials. Wu-Ren's eyes were full of nervousness. He picked up his phone and sent a message, then gestured for Ye Bei to sit down and show him the recent case of a safe house. Soon, Wu-Ren's screen flickered, and his nervous expression relaxed a lot. 10 million, just give it as you say. Even if the POS machine prints the certificate, Wu-Ren still thinks that Ye Bei may be a scammer. It wasn't until the finance department replied to him that he truly confirmed that the person in front of him was a real big customer. "Okay, we understand. You have a whole floor house on the top floor of Tongqing Garden and hope to make this floor a safe house. What specific requirements do you have?" Speaking, he handed the tablet to Ye Bei, which was a service that Universal Security could provide. Ye Bei looked at these services and was amazed, truly ranking among the top 3 security companies in the world. Not only can safe houses be built on land, but they can also be built inside mountains and underwater, and even a permanent aerial barrier. Ye Bei pulled the tablet and said, "Firstly, I want an integrated die-cast safety house, which should be made of aviation-grade alloy with a thickness of 400mm. As the end of the day approaches, the most important thing to guard against is the terrifying neighbors. Secondly, I need a fully intelligent constant temperature system, fresh air system, and whole house water purification system. After the blizzard, drinking water was too difficult, and the blizzard carried a large amount of dust, resulting in poor air quality. Thirdly, I need an ecological park that integrates water and land. A small part of it is land, with chickens, ducks, and geese raised on top. The other part is planted with rice, with shrimp, crabs, and other crops raised under the rice. The shelf life of frozen meat is only about 1 year, and no matter how much it is stored on its own, it needs to be able to produce it on its own. Fourthly, I need a monitoring system that can clearly understand what is happening outside. This monitoring system should be secretive and not easily detected or damaged by others. Fifthly, the door must be made of the best one, which is the type of bank vault that can't even explode a bomb. you.Rich nodded slightly, took the tablet, and confirmed the content with Ye Bei. Just halfway through, Ye Bei added, I also need a plantation, not too big. Can you plant some cherry trees, orange trees, and so on for me? I usually love to eat fruits. you.Rich nodded slightly and took note of everything. Okay, Mr. Ye, I have received news that the project department has completed the infrared measurement. I found that the thickness of the wall is military grade, which can support you to rebuild the exterior wall after leveling the entire floor. Do you need to do this? Ye Bei was somewhat surprised. The Tongqing Garden was built by Tongqing First Heavy Industry at the time, and was known as the strongest house in the entire Jiangnan region, capable of withstanding a magnitude 9 earthquake. Unfortunately, it didn't sell well. Tongqing First Heavy Industry even confiscated its capital and went bankrupt and reorganized within a few days. Ye Bei testified that this house was indeed sturdy. Before his death in the previous life, almost all the high-end residences collapsed, and it had not collapsed yet. What are the benefits of the entire flattening and reconstruction? Firstly, it is safer to use modern explosion-proof concrete walls that can withstand rocket attacks. Secondly, it can make the connection between the top floor and the building closer, and unless the building collapses, there will never be an unsafe situation of a safe house. Thirdly, the insulation layer can be thickened to better cope with extreme weather, achieving greater warmth while reducing the energy consumption of the constant temperature system. Fourthly, more advanced snow melting devices can be used. Snow melting devices can provide clean water sources for safe houses while reducing the top load-bearing pressure. Fifth. Ye Bei waved his hand and interrupted, needless to say, we have flattened and rebuilt. you.Rich asked again, do we still need to arrange a moving company for you? Ye Bei thought of the silicone doll and several cups from Japan in the room, and couldn't help but feel a tightness in his heart, feeling that he needed to go back. But as soon as he thought of taking out the doll in public, it would be even more socially unacceptable. So he said to you.Rich, well, wait for a moment. During the conversation, Ye Bei's phone rang. When he answered the phone, the voice across from him was deafening. Uncle, you're the eldest person now, why do you still buy inflatable dolls? Ye Bei lowered his body in fear, covered the phone, and replied, Ye Zihan, keep your voice down. Your uncle, I don't want face. The master of the voice is Ye Zihan, the niece of Ye Bei. Ye Zihan's mother is his own father's niece. As she was raised by Ye Bei's father since childhood, she is very close to Ye Bei's family. Ye Zihan's mother has already immigrated to the lighthouse country. But due to having business in the Magic City, they run back and forth in the lighthouse country Magic City. Perhaps due to growing up in the Dragon Kingdom since childhood, Ye Zihan's mother allowed him to study in the Magic City. In her previous life, even though her sister knew she was a waste, she still took the initiative to ask Ye Zihan to be close to her. Occasionally, he would also give himself large red envelopes worth tens of thousands of yuan. Unfortunately, I bought all the bags for Shen Anwen at that time. Otherwise, with an average monthly allowance of 30,000 to 40,000 yuan, what kind of girl wouldn't be able to find it? Uncle, you have the ability to be single, how can you still have the ability to save face? If I were you, I would just hit and kill a crooked-necked tree. My uncle left such a large inheritance, and my mother occasionally gives you red envelopes, just to make you live this loser's life. Ye Zihan's voice was loud, and coupled with Ye Bei not deliberately lowering his voice, the phone call was particularly clear in the small room. Come on, take a look. 2 beautiful women are by your side. Don't you know how to cherish them? Do you understand your money skills? You're not being too stingy to attract girls, are you? Speaking, Ye Zihan also turned on the camera. In the camera, Shen Anwen and Zhou Menglan are smiling and waving at Ye Bei. Ye Bei was somewhat speechless and dared not loudly rebuke Ye Zihan. This girl has always been unruly. If she really gets angry with her, she must make a sign of a virgin home and put it on her doorstep, while also posting notices on the streets and alleys, telling everyone that she is a virgin. Finally, the old god will still be there to comfort herself, saying that she is helping herself find a partner. To revive oneself for a lifetime is to become the overlord of Tongcheng. It's not just about crossing over and dying in society, making oneself a Tongcheng bully. Moreover, Ye Zihan's intelligence is unparalleled, and he may not be able to compete with her. She is only 15 years old and has already been admitted to the youth class of the Longhua Academy of Sciences 1 year ahead of schedule, specializing in physics and minoring in biology. In the previous life, just as the apocalypse approached, he was taken away by the Central Special Forces of the Dragon Kingdom. Afterwards, she continued to feed her supplies one after another. Without her, she wouldn't have been able to sustain herself for 3 months. Wait, my doll Ye Bei suddenly remembered that this girl took it as her responsibility to help herself get rid of loneliness and was extremely resistant to some special things. Are you at my house? Ye Zihan turned the camera and saw that Ye Beijia had already been pushed around. 4 airplane cups, from different parts of the 4 actresses, were neatly placed on the dining table that had not yet been taken away. Ye Bei was afraid of confusion and even wrote his Chinese name and specific parts on it. The 1.1 high silicone doll was also standing next to Ye Zihan, naked, with light yellow marks on its legs and chest, as if it had been used recently. Wu Ren'ai glanced at the screen and quickly turned his head, his face somewhat reserved. Is this something he can see? Ye Bei slapped his head and hung up the phone directly. In no time, Ye Zihan sent another photo and saw her tightly touching Shen Anwen's big white rabbit, enjoying herself. It's really big, uncle. It's really a pity if you don't experience it. Ye Bei cursed inwardly, didn't he know Shen Anwen was big? I have read at least 30,000 films and bought dozens of molds. At a glance, one can estimate a rough estimate. But myself, was that for Shen Anwen's big white rabbit? Ah. Ye Bei paused and thought, in the previous life, it was indeed Shen Anwen's figure that poked at her. However, she was still deceived by the appearance of the white lotus flower. No, in my life, I must make Shen Anwen pay the price. Ye Bei's thoughts have been brought back to reality. Shen Anwen indeed has a celebrity-level physique and appearance, but even so, she still has to die. Wu Ren'ai looked at Ye Bei and hesitated for a while before slowly saying, well, Mr. Yi, the 35th floor has already been flattened. Speaking, he also handed the tablet to Ye Bei. Ye Bei looked at his fingerprints, language authentication, and the approved safe house design plan and gave a bitter smile. This little girl is still taking such an unusual path. She is a student of biology and physics, and especially knows how to use computers. Who are you going to argue with? Wu Ren'ai is also a little guilty. Although he said that Ye Bei's information was leaked, their security system could not be identified. Okay, just follow the plan given by Ye Zihan. How much does it cost? Wu Ren'ai saw that Ye Bei had not investigated the loopholes in the system and quickly replied, the integrated cost of a 400mm steel plate safety house is 10,000 square meters, including the floor, ceiling, and walls, with a total area of 350 square meters and a total cost of 45 million yuan. The energy storage battery is 10,000 degrees Celsius, with a cost of 10 million yuan. In other words, if you give us 50 million yuan, we will fix everything including the constant temperature system for you. Of course, you can also choose to only build a safe house, and find a third-party company to handle the system inside the safe house. This way, the price of the safe house is 35 million yuan. Look. Ye Bei waved his hand and said, no need, you just need to fix everything. 55 million, which is similar to Ye Bei's estimated price. Wu Renai looked at Ye Bei and continued, then, Ms. Ye Zihan also added 20 million weapons. As our Wanghua Security Group is a legitimate company registered with relevant departments in Longhua, we can only provide around 12 million weapons that comply with laws and regulations. Oh my, I accidentally dropped a business card. How about you? Ye Bei picked up the business card that Wu Renai had thrown on the coffee table and glanced at it. Haran Jingqi Import and Export Company, Limited, Li Hao. Ding! Ye Bei picked up his phone and found a guy named Li Hao requesting to add himself as a friend. Ye Bei felt extremely depressed in his heart, he was actually arranged. This little girl helped herself spend 75 million on this movie. Only 80 million in total, and 75 million is gone like this. This money was really brought in by the strong wind, but it was blown away by the strong wind again. You just need to pay 50% of the project fee first, and 30% after the safe house is delivered. After you stay for a month, you can pay the remaining 20%. Of course, if you have any concerns, you can also pay 15%, the final 5%, when you are happy and when to give it. Ye Bei understood the meaning and gave himself a 15% discount. After waving his hand, Ye Beidao said, "It's okay, just give me the best price. In a month, I'll give you the full payment. I don't care about 5%. As long as the quality is good, what's this little money?" Wu Renai's gaze towards Ye Bei was full of respect. Although the young man in front of me has a bad brain, he is really a good person. I must personally supervise the work on site and give this good person a perfect safe house. And what Ye Bei was thinking in his heart was that the payment would not end until a month later, which means he doesn't want any money. What, if it's 5%, then it's impossible to give you 20%. Chapter 5. Shaking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 6. Hate my uncle for not becoming steel. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The elevator went down to the 14th floor and stopped. The east door on the 14th floor is Shen Anwen's house. Sitting on the sofa, Zhou Menglan leaned against Shen Anwen and said, Wen, why don't you seize the opportunity to pursue? Ye Bei must be interested in you. If you touch his hand, he can't stand it anymore. Shen Anwen gave a cold smile and said, Meng, didn't I tell you before? Talking about money with the poor and emotions with the rich. You have to make Ye Bei pay the price before he will cherish you. Zhou Menglan replied, Ye Bei was so kind to you before. He worked hard to buy bags for you. He ate instant noodles every time he ate them, and took you out to eat 3,000 to 4,000 won high-end Western dishes. How thoughtful he was. Shen Anwen shook her head and said, Careful. I barely calculated before, but not now. Ye Bei is so wealthy now that he can even afford to buy a house for tens of millions. Do you think the money he spent before can still be called money? Can he still call the price he paid? Me and Ye Bei, we haven't started yet. Shen Anwen glanced at WeChat and saw that Ye Bei had not yet replied to her message, so she threw her phone aside. For Ye Bei, she knows nothing better than a poor loser who has never seen the world before. I have already communicated with his niece, and whenever there is any disturbance, I will ask her to inform me. As long as there are no other women involved, Ye Bei can only be in his own pocket. Uncle, I think Shen Anwen is quite easy to fool. If you give her some sweetness, she can pounce on you directly. She thinks she's smart, but in fact, she's foolish. Ye Zihan persuaded Ye Bei with great care, appearing like an elder. Ye Bei replied, Don't worry about adults' affairs. Ye Zihan said again, Uncle, you should know that when a man has a first time, he will have a second time. When he has a first time, he will have a second time. The beginning of everything is difficult, and as long as you start, you will find that the world is so beautiful. Those graceful bodies are so joyful. Ye Bei frowned and said, you seem to understand quite well, don't you? Ye Zihan patted his small chest and said, of course, no one understands women better than me. Of course, it can also be men. However, I have higher requirements for men, and currently I don't have anything that meets my requirements. Ye Bei looked at Ye Zihan's gaze and suddenly became strange. No, it's that. Ye Zihan blinked at Ye Bei and said, Uncle, guess what? You guessed right. The first half of the night belongs to you, and the second half belongs to me. If you want to hug and sleep, the first half of the night belongs to me, and the second half belongs to you. Ye Bei was completely speechless, already in the middle of the night. How could he still guess? Uncle, I'll help you catch up. After you get it, you can use it first. I'll come back when you're familiar with it. How about that? Shen Anwen is really good. The words of Tiger and Wolf directly silenced Ye Bei Gan. Uncle. 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 Ye Zihan has been chattering incessantly in Ye Bei's ear, asking him to conquer Shen Anwen. In the end, Ye Bei became angry. Ye Zihan, I tell you, this Shen Anwen has exploded in my head, so she must die. At this moment, Ye Zihan was stunned and fell silent for a few minutes before slowly saying, which head of yours? Upon hearing these words, Ye Bei was also stunned. Which head? One's own head, which head? Wait, it seems like it's not. I'm super, do children nowadays understand so much? Is a 15-year-old girl like a wolf like Tiger? Seeing Ye Bei's gloomy face, Ye Zihan seemed to understand something. I patted Ye Bei's shoulder and said, it's okay, uncle. I know you're not very clever, after all, you only went to college at the age of 18. Ye Bei looked at Ye Zihan and didn't understand, so I couldn't figure out the relationship between the two heads and my going to college at the age of 18. Wait, why did I go to college at the age of 18, but my brain wasn't very bright? You were recruited at the age of 14, are you amazing? Have you passed the Dragon Kingdom exam? Do you know how difficult the Dragon Kingdom exam is? Do you know that your life is incomplete? Uncle, there is a phenomenon called the hippocampus effect. That is to say, you may just have a very real dream, in which you were hit by Shen Anwen's head. In fact, this is something that hasn't happened yet, can you understand? Ye Bei angrily said, Fart, you've been dreaming for 3 years, and Shen Anwen's butt has been touched. Ye Zihan patted Ye Bei's shoulder again and said, look, you haven't distinguished between reality and dreams yet. You know, that's something that hasn't happened yet. Ye Bei hit Ye Zihan's head and said, that's something that's bound to happen, you know what the hell. So, you built a safe house because you had a strange dream. Ye Bei nodded without refuting. Ye Zihan sneered, cut, I thought you had taken my advice. Upon hearing this, Ye Bei suddenly remembered that about 2 months ago, this girl suddenly messaged herself, saying that the universe model she built showed that the Earth would fall into an extremely cold field in 3 months, requiring her to prepare early. At that time, I was busy working to earn money and knelt down to lick Shen Anwen, ignoring her at all. Unexpectedly, this girl's words became a prophecy, and the ice and snow really covered the entire world. Unable to help, Ye Bei's gaze towards Ye Zihan changed. This girl, although she has a big problem with her personal lifestyle, her profession is really beyond words. Ye Bei's tone suddenly became serious and he said, don't joke, the end will really come. I just returned from crossing the future. Ye Zihan gave Ye Bei a white glance and replied, yes, humanity in the future world is almost extinct. You have been selected by the future world and have been able to travel back. Now, you are 50, and we will guard the earth together, right? Ye Bei sighed and pressed Ye Zihan's shoulder, saying, my little ancestor, it's really true. You must trust your uncle. You. Before Ye Bei could finish speaking, Ye Zihan sincerely said, Uncle, I believe in you. Ye Bei was stunned and said, "Ah." Ye Zihan replied, "Uncle, don't worry, I will definitely manage our shelter and let us safely pass through the end of the day." Speaking, he also made a gesture given by Ali. Ye Bei looked at Ye Zihan's performance and was completely bewildered. "That shelter doesn't sound good, it's called a safe house." "Okay uncle, I will definitely make sure to secure our shelter." Ye Bei had a black line on his face and didn't correct anything further. To be honest, Ye Zihan is much more reliable than himself. When the end of the world had just arrived, this girl proposed many plans, and even temporarily restored production in Tongqing City. Unfortunately, with the passage of time, the weather became colder and the snow became thicker, and order eventually collapsed. "Okay, let this girl handle it first, and then I'll review it myself." With Ye Zihan's talent and experience, how could we not survive this apocalypse? Pulling his phone, Ye Bei booked a 5-star hotel and casually took away the mouth of a certain actress. Ye Zihan shook his head as he watched from behind, looking as if he hated iron for not turning into steel. Seeing Ye Bei enter the elevator, Ye Zihan kicked the doll into the garbage area and casually threw away all 3 cups. "Fake not going, really not coming. Uncle, you won't blame me, will you?" Thinking about it, Ye Zihan also took a photo of Ye Bei. After taking the photo, she suddenly felt that she had to throw away the one in Ye Bei's hand as well. Why does a wealthy second-generation with strong blood use props? Doesn't he know that props are meant for others to use? Not like a wealthy second-generation. Chapter 7. Preparation of Materials. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Lying on the hotel sofa, Ye Bei began preparing supplies for the apocalypse. The first step in winter is definitely to eat hot pot. The shelf life of beef and mutton is around 18 months, calculated based on 2 pounds per day. That's 365 kilograms, less than half a ton, let's round it up. Before Ye Bei could place an order, he saw a text message sent over. "Dear customer, the 3 tons of beef you have ordered are ready and you are welcome to collect them at any time. Respectfully, Ouchin Grassland Import and Export Company, Limited." Along with it came a fee deduction text message. Ye Bei. Is this little girl so blatant now? Buy things directly without going through me. Is there a royal law? Can I call the police? Although it was a bit depressed, Ye Bei didn't really get angry. Over the years, Ye Zihan's mother has subsidized herself by at least millions. This tens of thousands of yuan of beef is nothing. The black stockings you purchased have been shipped. The QQ stockings you purchased have been shipped. The red stockings you purchased have been shipped. The luminous stockings you purchased have been shipped. Ye Bei patted the table, but Ye Zihan was bullying too much. How can one be so accurate in judging people? Did it violate my privacy right? However, it seems that there is a very important stockings missing here. The KD stockings you purchased have been shipped. In less than 10 minutes, Ye Bei received hundreds of different types of stockings, including full body, half body, and fishing nets. In the following time, Ye Bei's biggest task is to lie in bed and read news. Ye Zihan has prepared all the things needed for the end of the world for himself, and has also handwritten a survival guide to the end of the world. The book consists of over 2 million words, covering everything from drilling wood for fire to weapon making, from science and technology to postpartum care for sows, and even various strange postures related to human reproduction. Everything in heaven and earth is inclusive. Uncle, I wrote this book in AI. If you have any questions, you can ask me. What AI can provide is basic knowledge, so it's not as clear as me. Ye Bei threw his phone aside, feeling very tired. He has lived for a lifetime, and it feels like he's not as good as a junior high school student, not right. Ye Zihan is a college student, and he has already obtained a direct PhD. He has been studying for 2 years now, and there are still 3 years left to complete. He will become a doctoral student. That is to say, according to the normal trajectory, before entering university, someone else will graduate with a PhD. Life is not easy, Ye Bei sighed. Encountering such a niece, I wonder if it's a blessing or a curse. Originally, Ye Bei had a full plan for himself for this month. As a result, just one day has passed and it seems like there is no need to do anything on your own. Compared to the daily heart-pounding of the apocalyptic era, life today is also too comfortable. On the other hand, Ye Zihan found a chair from somewhere and sat cross-legged, directing the workers to work. Ah, yes, this side is smoothed out. Over there, it's all smashed up, there shouldn't be any protrusions at all. When Wu-Renai walked in with two uniformed little sisters, she was completely dumbfounded. What about Ye Bei? Is that the niece of the god of wealth sitting on the chair? It looks like it's not that sharp. Ye Zihan has an angelic appearance, pure eyes, a slender figure, and a harmless image of a beautiful woman. Standing here, Shen Anwen appears more aggressive than Ye Zihan. Standing still, Wu-Renai is neither advancing nor retreating. He came here today mainly to establish some intimate connections with Ye Bei outside of work. Before coming, he specifically instructed the two behind him not to wear stockings and to come barefoot. Silk stockings, he's wearing them. Choose what you want to wear on site. In work, completing services is a must. In life, it is even more important to consider customers. The customer is God, and God's thoughts are the purpose of Wu-Renai's service. Last time, he saw Ye Bei take two more glances at the place where Ning Fanfan was standing. At first glance, there seemed to be some joy hidden, and at second glance, there was some disgust. He guessed that he probably liked the type of Ning Fanfan, but didn't like the flesh-colored stockings Ning Fanfan wore that day. For this, he not only specially prepared multiple types of stockings, but also brought an extra person. Ning Fanfan has a dull temperament and may not be able to create an active atmosphere. Moreover, wealthy people rarely play 1v1, and without them, they will definitely feel bored. Wu-Renai naturally didn't know that Ye Bei had never even tried 1v1. Ye Zihan saw Wu-Renai standing there and waved, "Are you also here to supervise the work?" Upon hearing this, Wu-Renai hurriedly said, yes, I'll come and check the progress. At the same time, I'll supervise all departments to complete tasks with high standards and strict requirements. Ye Zihan glanced behind him, jumped off the chair, and said, "These two, don't they have any special connection with my uncle?" Even for someone like Wu-Renai who has seen the world before, hearing such obscure statements coming from a child's mouth makes them feel a bit at a loss. Ye Zihan snorted coldly and took out a student ID from Longhua University from his pocket. Wu-Renai suddenly realized, "Oh, you have already gone to college. You look too young, I didn't even recognize you." Haha, they want to establish some kind of connection with your uncle, but it hasn't happened yet. How about you give them some advice? Ye Zihan gave a sinister smile and said, "Oh, then let them be here. I'll think of a way." "Okay, then I'll trouble you." Wu-Renai laughed and gave away a stack of tickets to Tongqing Amusement Park. These tickets cost 500 yuan per ticket, a stack of 10. If Ye Zihan were just an ordinary college student, he would probably fly happily. However, Ye Zihan had a mother who was even richer than Ye Bei and his family during their heyday, and these few thousand yuan were not even considered. "Hee, two little sisters, let me check on you." Ye Zihan excitedly rubbed his hands and led the two to the corner of the stairs on the 34th floor, where he examined their bodies up and down. Ye Bei was bored in bed and clicked on some takeout app. After thinking for a while, he thought it might not be very hygienic, so he gave up. Ah, are wealthy people's days so boring? Ye Bei holds a huge sum of money worth millions, even if the cost of purchasing goods is included, he can still leave behind several million. When the end of the world comes, money becomes waste paper, and you have to spend it quickly. No, hold on, the supplies are important. First, confirm the supplies, and then think about other things. Ye Bei forcibly calmed his mind, but his heart still pounded. How about ordering something expensive, the kind that costs around 40,000 to 50,000 times? With monthly health checks, there shouldn't be any problems. But isn't it a bit hasty for me to give takeout this precious first time? How about getting my doll back? Super. Upon careful consideration, Ye Bei realized that his precious doll had already been lost by Ye Zihan. Flipping through one software after another on the bed, Ye Bei was tempted but hesitant. Is it so difficult for him, a former quasi-billionaire and now a millionaire, to find a woman? Suddenly, a figure flashed through Ye Bei's mind. Ning Fan Fan. This girl looks like an iceberg beauty and is also a dance prodigy. A dancer who started working as a receptionist for a security company shows that life is not going well. How about practicing her hand first with her? Speaking of Ning Fan Fan, it can be considered as half of Ye Bei's white moonlight. The other white moonlight in Ye Bei is Shen Anwen, but unfortunately Shen Anwen has messed him up very badly. Thinking about it, Ye Bei was preparing to send a message to Wu Renai asking if he knew Ning Fan Fan. With Wu Renai's intelligence, he should soon be able to bring people to him. Before the news from Ye Bei could be reached, Ye Zihan's video call came over. I saw Ye Zihan, one on each side, holding on to two beautiful women and constantly engaging in friendly communication with their big white rabbit. Uncle, tell my mother, Tongqing Lo, I don't want to go back to the demon capital. Wow huh, it's so soft. Uncle, would you like to give it a try? Ye Bei widened his eyes. Isn't the girl kneeling on the left in the video Ning Fan Fan? Looking at her like that, she should still be holding her phone, with a slight frown on her eyebrows, as if she was very annoying, but she didn't dare to get angry. You. Ye Bei fell silent, unsure of what to say. This Ye Zihan was an old virgin in his previous life, isn't he? How come he feels like he hasn't seen a woman before? Isn't she just a woman herself? Why are you still interested in women? Isn't it okay to look in the mirror when you're lonely and have a good figure? I am a man, and occasionally I admire my youthful appearance in front of a mirror, boasting about my handsomeness, but I will definitely not hook up with him. Same sex repels each other, opposite sex attracts each other. I still like women. Uncle, do you envy me? Are you tempted? Do you want me? Ye Bei looked at Ye Zihan's reckless behavior and said that he didn't envy it as it was fake. Say envy, I can't say it out loud. With a snap, Ye Bei hung the video. Hurry up and bring me the hotel, Tongqing International 512, hurry up. Chapter 8. Go find Ye Bei, little one. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Putting down his phone, Ye Zihan didn't feel unhappy at all. Anyway, he just chuckled. My little uncle has finally enlightened me. Men should be like this. I have made progress, I know the cup is no longer useful, and I want a real person now. Huh, my uncle has a timid personality. If she and her dear mother really immigrate to Lighthouse and don't come back, they may be squeezed to death by my aunt's family. Now it's good. If there is any profit, everyone will go and borrow high-interest loans. But it's okay. When Ye Bei's parents passed away, he also left behind a sum of overseas savings, which was operated under her mother's name at that time. That savings are enough for Ye Bei to become the richest man in a province of Dragon Kingdom. As long as Ye Bei doesn't take the blood of his aunt's family and works hard, he can't spend all the money anyway. Ye Zihan estimated that he could open a company and find a professional manager at that time. Others are risking their lives to earn money, while little uncles are risking their lives to spend money. Anyway, with his knowledge, he can only borrow high-interest loans at most. In this world, there are more businesses that suffer losses than high-interest loans. For high-interest loans, we will give you money first. If the interest is counted as a loss, the floating loss will generally not exceed 50%. A principal of 100 yuan, a maximum loss of 50. If you go to stock trading, the stock market doesn't need to spend a penny and you can end up with nothing. If we add a few times more leverage, it will be even higher than high-interest loans. Humming a little song, Ye Zihan pinched Ning Fanfan's big buttocks hard and patted another little sister's buttocks twice, saying, "Two little babies, I can't accompany you anymore. Go to the hotel, my uncle needs you." Ning Fanfan nibbled lightly on her pink lips. She detested Ye Bei and thought he was a scumbag. My personality is relatively introverted. When Ye Bei was chasing me, she was actually very happy in her heart, but her overly shy personality made her afraid to say a word to Ye Bei. Just as she mustered up the courage to accept Ye Bei's confession, Ye Bei, the scumbag, gave up on herself and ran to kneel and lick Shenanwen. At that time, she was extremely angry. Every time she saw Ye Bei, it was like a shovel hugging Ye Bei's head. When chasing after her, she would take her little Brahmin sisters one by one, bring herself food, milk tea, and take them home. He also likes to take advantage of himself and secretly touch his hair. As a result, after kneeling and licking Shenanwen, I gathered the courage to greet him. This guy actually said, "Ning Fan Fan, I hope we keep a distance. I'm afraid Shenanwen will misunderstand." Thinking of this, Ning Fanfan's jade hand clenched tightly and muttered fiercely, "Humph, scumbag." Ye Zihan leaned towards Ning Fanfan's mouth and said, "What are you muttering about?" Ning Fanfan was startled when he saw the sudden arrival of Ye Zihan. He took 2 steps back and said, "Mr. Ye, I said we will actively complete the task." Ye Zihan patted Ning Fanfan's arm and said, "All right, this task is up to you. Come on." As he spoke, he pinched Ning Fanfan's buttocks again, and his mouth was about to open with a smile. As they were escorted into the elevator, Ye Zihan rubbed his little hands and said, "Oh, Ning Fanfan is too soft, isn't he? The big white rabbit is at least 2 cups bigger than Shenanwen. With such a big white rabbit, its waist is so thin and its buttocks are so raised. TSK, my little uncle is really lucky." In the elevator, the young lady next to Ning Fanfan said, "Fan Fan, seduce Mr. Ye, we need to cooperate." Ning Fanfan turned his head and said, "See you, Ye Bei is just a scumbag. Let's just go for a walk there." Siyu smiled and said, "Fan Fan, no matter how scumbag Ye Bei is, he is also a wealthy scumbag. Do you know how much money he borrowed from the company? 45 million. With just a little change, it can change our lives." Ning Fanfan lowered his head and resisted with silence. Ning Fanfan, Chen Siyu, grew up eating 100 families' meals. I hope to live with dignity in the future. Even if I kneel down now to beg, be scolded, and lick, I hope to have such an opportunity. Now that the opportunity is in front of me, I beg you to cooperate with me, okay? Ning Fanfan's expression was complex. After hesitating for a moment, he said with heartache, "Okay, I'll cooperate with you. But I'm just standing there and won't do anything." Chen Siyu tilted his mouth slightly and said, "Okay, it's okay, that's enough. Thank you, Van. She knows Ning Fanfan too well, she is a soft-hearted god." According to the address given by Ye Zihan, the two arrived at Tongqing International Hotel. A huge fountain, a 3-story stone lion, and almost all the top luxury cars parked in the parking lot made the two of them gasp for breath. The two walked into the hotel with slender high heels, trying to remain calm. The hall, which is over 10 meters high, is adorned with huge crystal lights that sparkle with the light of money. Standing in the hall, Chen Siyu was completely stunned. Ning Fanfan grabbed Chen Siyu's arm and couldn't help but shudder as he watched the cold and dazzling gazes from the black silk socialites passing by. Chen Siyu regained his senses and pulled Ning Fanfan aside, saying, "Tongqing International is the most upscale hotel in Tongqing. Any room here costs 4,000 to 5,000 one nights. Ning Fanfan remained silent, feeling uneasy at the thought of Ye Bei being so wealthy. Since everyone is so wealthy, why deceive their feelings? Is it fun to intentionally be a licking dog? Chen Siyu's eyes flickered as she found the location of the elevator. Intentionally raising his chest and walking confidently towards the elevator. Here is the life she wants. Brilliant and magnificent, admired by thousands of people. Entering here is equivalent to entering heaven. She must blend in here. Chen Siyu and Ning Fanfan walked into the elevator but found themselves unable to press the floor. A middle-aged man behind him said, "You need to swipe your room card to enter the designated floor. Is this your first time coming?" Chen Siyu smiled awkwardly, lowered her head to apologize, and took Ning Fanfan down the elevator. Facing each other, they collided with Shen Anwen and several others. On the way for Chen Siyu and Ning Fanfan to Tongqing International, Yi Zihan informed Shen Anwen of the news. Shen Anwen immediately rushed to the battlefield with her second licking dog Sun Peng. This Sun Peng is Ye Bei's younger brother who has no blood relationship. "Oh, you too, hurry to see Ye Bei." Sun Peng wore a sleeveless T-shirt with a big back, revealing strong muscles, and holding the Porsche car key in his hand. Chen Siyu saw Sun Peng and smiled, "Do you know Mr. Ye?" Sun Peng snorted and said, "Mr. Ye. A dog bastard who is nothing can also be called Mr. Ye. Do you know that Ye Bei hasn't gone out to work for over half a year? Why? Because he's a bastard. In this society, who would provide a job for a dog?" Chen Siyu took 2 steps back, and the person in front of him seemed to be very uncomfortable with Ye Bei. Ning Fanfan tightly grasped Chen Siyu's arm and said, "Ye Bei is not such a person." Sun Peng glared coldly at Ning Fanfan and shouted, "You know what the hell?" Ning Fanfan was startled and hid directly behind Chen Siyu, timidly saying, "He's not." Sun Peng snorted coldly, his knuckles cracking. Upon hearing this sound, Ning Fanfan trembled with fear behind Chen Siyu, and his aura dared not even breathe. Chen Siyu feels bitter in her heart. Ning Fanfan is a coward, and she knows it. But facing such a crazy man, she also feels scared. Mustering up courage, Chen Siyu said, "So, is there any misunderstanding?" Sun Peng sneered and said, "I misunderstood. What misunderstanding did I have with a dog? Alright, where is Ye Bei? I'll go find him. Dare to bully Wenwen and say that you 2 scumbags are not as good as my Wenwen. I must make Ye Bei pay the price. You should know that my Wenwen is the best woman in the world. Understood?" Chen Siyu glanced at the woman next to Sun Peng. To be honest, in terms of temperament, she was indeed stronger than Ning Fanfan, a coward. In terms of appearance, it is also 5/5 apart from Ning Fanfan. As for body shape, it is definitely far inferior. Ning Fanfan's outrageous figure cannot be replicated by medicine or aesthetics. Pure natural tear-off manga woman. On the surface, Chen Siyu smiled and said, "Yes, Wenwen is the best in the world. Can we go now?" Speaking, I just took small steps and wanted to leave the hotel. Sun Peng snorted coldly, "Let's go." "Stop me. Tell me, where is Ye Bei? Without me in Chapter 9, you're nothing." You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Siyu clenched her hand and tightly grasped her phone. How dare she say where Ye Bei is? The person in front of me is arrogant and unreasonable. Is Ye Bei a kind-hearted person who dares to borrow 45 million yuan from a high-interest loan company? Sun Peng also saw this small action and directly wanted to grab the phone. At this moment, Ye Bei was beside him, carrying a 2L iced black tea in his left hand and a bag of fruit in his right hand. He said, "Is that Ye Bei you're talking about me?" When Sun Peng saw Ye Bei, he immediately made a right hook punch. But with an arm that was twice as thick as Sun Peng, he tightly held down this punch. The person who came is Wu Renai. When Wu-Ren-Ai left Ye Bei's house, he felt embarrassed to give the stockings to Chen Xiyu and the others in front of Ye Zihan. Then I wandered downstairs under Ye Bei, thinking about sending out the stockings in front of him. This thing needs to be displayed in front of the customer. You are prepared behind your back, so it's better to send it out in person to bring us closer together. As a result, Ye Bei didn't wait, but instead saw Chen Xiyu and the others leave. He messaged and asked, only to find out that Ye Bei had come to live in Tongqing International because of his home renovation. Another journey of sparks and lightning arrived at Tongqing International, but shortly after entering, Ye Bei pulled him to watch a big show. As Chen Xiyu awkwardly stepped out of the elevator, Ye Bei and he watched from the side. As a result, Sun Ping didn't know if he was blind. He was so big that he didn't even notice at first glance. I kept asking where Ye Bei was. Sun Ping looked at Wu-Ren-Ai and scanned his badge, saying, from Wanghua Security Company. Get out of my way. Wu-Ren-Ai politely replied, I'm sorry, sir. Yi is always a super VIP customer of our company, and we have a responsibility to protect his personal safety. Sun Ping angrily said, Mr. Yi, he's a damn Mr. Yi. I'm the one who's the boss. Turning to Ye Bei, he roared, you bastard, your wings are hard, aren't you? Kneel down and apologize to me, otherwise I'll have to find someone to hit you and make you look for teeth. Ye Bei smiled faintly, licked his lips, put down the fruit in his hand, and twisted open the bottle of iced black tea. Sun Ping withdrew his arm and laughed wildly, saying, Ye Bei, you bastard, you don't even know how to pretend to be a rich second generation. Do you know what the rich second generation drinks? This low-quality iced black tea is not even drunk by dogs. Huh, you're still pretending. What's going on? Take a sip of iced black tea and scold me a few more words, you're laughing at me. Ye Bei walked up to Sun Ping with iced black tea, looked directly into his eyes, and poured the iced black tea from his head. Sun Ping's eyes were filled with anger, and he roared, you're looking for death. Sun Ping's waving arm was tightly held down by Wu-Ren-Ai. Die for me. Sun Ping kicked directly towards Ye Bei, but was tightly hugged by the security guard of Tongqing International. You. Sun Ping watched as Wu-Ren-Ai tightly clenched his right fist, while 4 or 5 security guards tightly hugged his legs and left arm. Do you know who I am, this bunch of useless people? I am the heir of the Ye group. Do you low-level crawlers dare to touch me? I'm not dying anymore. I want to tell my mom that I want you to pay for your life. Sun Ping struggled to break free from his constraints, but to no avail. Ye Bei poured the entire iced black tea clean and even skimmed on Sun Ping's head, not wanting to waste a drop. After all, it costs 8 yuan per bottle. Holding a bottle of iced black tea against Sun Ping's chest, Ye Bei said coldly, don't you think it's ironic? Your surname is Sun, but you are the heir of the Ye family group. Have you agreed with me? Sun Ping was held down by several people and shouted, what are you? I need your consent to do things. You're a nemesis, you killed your parents. If it weren't for my parents adopting you, you would have died on the street long ago. What are you pretending to be here for me? Ye Bei slapped directly, causing Sun Ping's left face to turn red. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't even be a fart. After lying on my body and sucking blood for a few years, you thought you were the owner. If you could say a few human words, you would forget that you're a dog. Do you want to take a look at the villas in the famous city of Tongqing? Whose name is written on them? Who owns the company's equity? Do you want to take a look? How much money do you have left now? Sun Ping struggled frantically and roared, little bastard, what are you talking about? People are talking, the sky is watching. Don't lie, you will be struck by lightning. Instead, he turned to other humanists and said, don't believe him, I am the real second generation rich, he is just a fake. Ye Bei gave a cold smile, took the Porsche key from Sun Ping's hand, and then punched Sun Ping's face. In an instant, blood flowed profusely. Sun Peng went completely crazy, his hoarse roar spreading throughout the entire hall. Ah, I want to kill you, you beast, I want to kill you. Ye Bei smiled faintly and made a motion of wiping his neck, saying, I'm waiting for you to kill me. Now, get out of here. Then he smiled at Wu Ren'ai and said, could you please, brother Wu? Wu Ren'ai chuckled and said, it's a small matter. Then, with a bunch of punches and kicks, Sun Peng was beaten out of the hotel. When Wu Ren'ai returned, Ye Bei threw the Porsche key to him and said, this time, thanks to you, the car gave you a ride. Wu Ren'ai rubbed his bald head and said with a hint of embarrassment, hi, it didn't help much. Just a weak little chicken, where can I get this car? Ye Bei didn't respond, just looked down at his phone for about 30 seconds. Ye Bei looked up and said, brother Wu, I'll transfer 200,000 yuan to you and take my brothers to eat something good. Originally, Wu Ren'ai was still somewhat dissatisfied and felt that Ye Bei's attitude was a bit lacking. Why don't you even talk to yourself after helping out? Upon hearing that it was a transfer for oneself, all the resentment was dispelled. At this moment, the on-duty manager of Tongqing International walked over and explained something to Ye Bei with a smile. Ye Bei was not angry, he just said a few words. At this moment, Shen Anwen suddenly took a step forward and hugged Ye Bei's arm, saying, brother Ye Bei, I notified you as soon as I saw Sun Peng coming, afraid you might get hurt. Fortunately, it's all under your control. You're really amazing now. Oh, I'm so shy. It's the first time I've had a heart attack on someone. As she spoke, Shen Anwen covered Lien and looked at Ye Bei through her fingers, her eyes full of small hearts. On the side, Zhou Menglan took a step forward and grabbed Shen Anwen, saying, Wen, a man's mouth is a deceitful ghost. I used to say I wanted to have sex with you forever, but now I'm running over to have sex with another woman. Sigh. Zhou Menglan looked helpless, as if she looked down on Ye Bei. Shen Anwen shook off Zhou Menglan's arm and said, no, I believe brother Ye Bei won't deceive me. You came to the meeting with these two sisters, right? I'm willing to believe anything you say. Ye Bei looked at Shen Anwen and said calmly, you've thought too much, you're here to open a house. Do you want to join? Shen Anwen stood still, he didn't want Ye Bei to be so shameless. Do you want to join yourself? 4 people's exercise. Don't say whether I want to join or not, I joined. Are you really capable? Shen Anwen remained silent for 3 seconds before releasing Ye Bei's arm and saying, brother Ye Bei, I know you're angry with me, but it's okay. I won't care, I'll wait for you forever. Then, he turned around and ran away, with a tear still hanging from the corner of his eye. Zhou Menglan sighed and said, Ye Bei, do you have to make things so difficult to turn around? You go and coax her, buy a few bags, or you'll end up with hundreds of thousands. Even if you don't have any emotions, just fooling her will make her happy. You do this. Sigh. Zhou Menglan sighed and also left the hotel. Wu Ren'ai sighed on the side and said, the grudges and grievances of wealthy families are really complex. The on-duty manager of Tongqing International also sighed, the grudges and grievances of wealthy families are really complex. Who would have thought that Sun Peng, the small tyrant who dominates half of Tongqing, would be publicly broken in the nose and kicked out of the hotel like a dog? Just now, he swiped all of Sun Peng's cards and found that they had been suspended. This indicates that the sky of the Ye group has changed. The security guards who were watching were staring straight. Is this the life of a wealthy person? Several goddesses were circling around, only these goddesses knelt and licked him, without him kneeling and licking others. What is that goddess named Wen talking about? Ye Baidu brought 2 girls to the hotel and even said they were coming for a meeting. She believes whatever Ye Bei says. Oh my goodness, is the world of wealthy people so enjoyable? As for the others in the hotel, they only glanced a few times before paying any further attention. There are so many grudges from this bloodthirsty wealthy family, where can we find them? However, a few CEOs paid extra attention to Ning Fanfan and Shen Anwen, thinking that their figures were really impressive. At this moment, in the eyes of everyone, Chen Xiu hugged Ye Bei directly, appearing particularly affectionate. you.Rich touched the packaging of stockings in his pocket and looked at the others in the crowd, stuffing it inside. Today's goal has been achieved, otherwise, even if he licks his face, he will have to follow up and give stockings to his face. Looking at the Porsche key in his hand, you.Rich had another bold idea. He decided to prepare a big gift package for Ye Bei. Chapter 10. Triggered you, I triggered you again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Upon arriving at the hotel, Ye Bei sat on the leather sofa and began to pull up his phone. Chen Xiu and Ning Fanfan stood at the door, appearing somewhat restrained. After a while, seeing that Ye Bei still had no intention of greeting the two of them, Ning Fanfan prepared to leave. This Ye Bei is really annoying. I just thought he was a bit manly, so now I'm here to hang on to him. Did he really forget what he said to himself in high school? For the past, Ning Fanfan never forgets. Ye Bei, it can be considered half of her first love. Until now, she has never been in a relationship. Chen Xiu smiled slightly and took off his black professional coat, revealing the white shirt inside. While taking off his clothes, he cleverly unbuttoned a button, revealing a hint of softness. Then, he obediently made it to the single-person sofa next to him, and also started playing with his phone. When playing with his phone, he occasionally glanced at Ye Bei, who didn't seem very disgusted. Instead, he took off his high heels and crossed his legs. Ning Fanfan stood for more than 10 minutes, neither walking or not walking. She used to be an ordinary receptionist and rarely talked to clients for more than 5 sentences. Being suddenly assigned to complete such a task now makes her very uneasy. Ye Bei glanced at Ning Fanfan, who was feeling a bit cramped, and said, "Sit down, why are you standing?" Upon hearing this, Ning Fanfan cautiously climbed onto the sofa opposite Chen Xiu. His eyes were fixed on Ye Bei, his hands constantly caressing the corners of his clothes, feeling extremely uneasy. Ye Bei didn't mean to leave the two behind. He just informed Lu Momu to transfer Sun Peng's Porsche directly to you.Rich's name. He has information about the Ye group and his aunt's family, and with this kid's skills, transferring ownership is not difficult. By the way, he learned about the number of security guards living near Tongqing Garden by the World Group. Ye Bei narrowly escaped the apocalypse and will definitely not give away $1 million luxury car and 200,000 yuan in cash for nothing. All of what he did was purposeful. Shortly after the blizzard, the road traffic in the entire city was almost paralyzed. The police force can no longer maintain urban order. At this time, there was a patrol team that maintained daily order in the old city area for a year and a half. The captain of this team was you.Rich. And most of the personnel in the team also live near Tongqing Garden. Providing the 200,000 yuan oneself is also equivalent to showing goodwill to these security guards. Although they don't need any supplies themselves, these people are likely to come in handy when necessary. Later, Ye Bei roughly classified the materials. From beef, sheep, pigs, poultry, fish and other meat products, to various dehydrated vegetables, as well as dehydrated fruits, he needs to verify them one by one in the days before the blizzard arrives. Yi Zihan may just treat this help as a game. But he knew that the end would really come, and the world would really turn into purgatory. There is only one chance for rebirth, you must firmly grasp it. After roughly sorting out the itinerary, Ye Bei shifted his gaze to Ning Fanfan. Ye Bei looked at Ning Fanfan's cramped expression and felt a sense of relief in his heart. You used to be indifferent to me, but now you can't stand up. Ning Fanfan looked at Ye Bei's playful gaze and felt even more angry in his heart. When I am chasing after you, it is also you who abandoned me. What do you want now? Do you want to come over and insult me? The more he thought about it, the more angry Ning Fan Fan became, and the more he realized that he couldn't do anything to Ye Bei. 5 minutes later, Ning Fan Fan howled in his heart. Woo-woo, it's so difficult to work as a laborer. I just want to get a salary of 4,000 yuan. Why do you want me to face this scumbag again? Woo-woo, watching Ning Fan Fan's face turn very aggrieved, his watery big eyes were about to burst into tears, Ye Bei felt very puzzled. Just look at her twice, what is she wronged about? The two of them just stared at each other without speaking. Cough cough, do you know Fan Fan? Chen Xiu looked at Ning Fan Fan and Ye Bei, breaking his calm. Ye Bei turned his head to look at Chen Xiu and said, Ning Fan Fan and I were high school classmates. At that time, we were still living in the same community. Ning Fan Fan added, I also live in the same community and still live in the same building. Ye Bei smiled faintly and said, yes, I live on the 35th floor and she lives on the 27th floor. It's not far away. Ning Fan Fan looked at Ye Bei and wanted to question him. Shen Anwen looked like a green tea, why did you still cross over me to find her? It's clear that I live close to you. But for a while, my heart was restless and I didn't say a word. Looking at the strange atmosphere between Ye Bei and the others, Chen Xiu's eyes flickered and he said to Ye Bei, Mr. Yi, I'm sorry. The company has regulations, so let's come out and definitely not go back empty-handed. Do you think it's convenient for you to give a WeChat message? Looking at Chen Xiu's shirt carefully, Ye Bei smiled faintly. Another Shen Anwen. However, Ye Bei did not refuse and opened the QR code business card for Chen Xiu to scan. In a past life, a celebrity once said, don't let a good girl down, and don't waste a bad girl. From his performance in front of the elevator, it seems that Chen Xiu has a bottom line compared to Shen Anwen. If it had been Shen Anwen at that time, she probably had already opened the way for Sun Peng, and even tempted herself to open the door. Just added WeChat, Chen Xiu sent herself a message. Fan Fan Controller. Not reimbursing commuting is equivalent to squeezing the shoulders, withholding meal vouchers is equivalent to rubbing the legs, withholding wages is equivalent to whole body massage. Give it a try, it's very useful. Ye Bei looked at Chen Xiu with a hint of anger in his eyes. Chen Xiu immediately replied, this is something we usually play with as a few girls, and we have never used it on men before. Whether it's me or Fan Fan, it's my first time meeting a male client alone. Chen Xiu's words are indeed correct. She and Ning Fan Fan are the flowers that Wu Renai raised in the greenhouse, waiting for the wealthy to pick. On weekdays, it is not allowed to have contact with other men unless they are favored by a prominent figure during reception. Even talking about boyfriends is prohibited. Some people may think that with such low salaries and high demands, a fool would come here to work. Actually, it's not at all. Because receiving this kind of reception from the security forces of all countries has caused some outrageous people or things to happen. For example, if one's father is a gambler and owes a lot of debt, those creditors will go to the company where they work and cause trouble, resulting in the inability to work at all. If you want to make money, you can only go into the sea. Ning Fan Fan seems to have also offended people, leading to being banned from his original industry. So, although the salary is low, it can at least be considered a legitimate profession. Ye Bei glanced at his phone and then at Ning Fan Fan. To be honest, he is also a bit timid. As a two-life virgin, apart from Yi Zihan, he has hardly had any physical contact with girls. After hesitating for a while, Ye Bei spoke up and said, Ning Fan Fan, it's been so long. Come and pinch my shoulder. Ning Fan Fan widened his eyes and looked towards Ye Bei. What are these words? I haven't seen you for so long, shall I go over and pinch your shoulders? Is the logic of capitalists so lofty? Ning Fan Fan sat on the sofa, silent in response. This is Ning Fan Fan's greatest weapon, silence. Ye Bei continued, if you don't come, I think Manager Wu may not reimburse you for today's commuting. Ning Fan looked at Ye Bei with anger in his big eyes. This scumbag, he actually threatened me. Am I Ning Fan, someone he can threaten? Seeing Ning Fan still standing still, Ye Bei continued to add more weight and said, Ning Fan, I'll count down 3. If you don't come, I promise you won't get a penny for commuting reimbursement for the next year. Ning Fan was furious and threw his phone directly onto the sofa. He stood up and looked at Ye Bei with fierce eyes. But in less than a second, Ning Fan placed his hands in front of his lower abdomen, lowered his head slightly, and respectfully smiled, Okay, Mr. Ye, I'll rub your shoulders. Later, Ning Fan squatted behind Ye Bei's sofa and began to rub his shoulders. Chen-Siyu chuckled when she saw this scene. Ning Fan, that's a ruthless person. Dare to provoke her, that's really kicking cotton. If you provoke Ning Fan, you will not receive any retaliation from Ning Fan. The consequence of offending Ning Fan was to provoke her because she had no fighting power. Of course, Chen-Siyu did not know Ning Fan's inner OS. Perhaps Ning Fan's greatest counterattack is to draw a circle of curses against those who have offended her. Ning Fan rubbed Ye Bei's shoulders for about half an hour, and his hands were tired and sore. Continuously shaking hands, trying to dispel fatigue. Ye Bei also noticed and smiled faintly, saying, Let's take a break. Rub my legs later. Ning Fan widened his eyes and said, Why? If you don't rub it, you won't see a meal voucher for the next month. Ning Fan collapsed on the ground, almost crying. Why is this dog capitalist so easy to be pinched when he first sees himself? Woo. Upon seeing this, Chen-Siyu immediately spoke up and said, Mr. Ye, should we also come over tomorrow? Ye Bei replied, Of course, I have to come over every day. Ning Fan angrily said, Why? Ye Bei said, If you don't come and give me a massage tomorrow, I will have manager Wu deduct your salary. Of course, if you do well, there will definitely be rewards. Ning Fan was panting heavily, obviously quite angry and afraid to curse back. This dog capitalist even draws his own pancakes. Deducting wages is true, rewards are definitely fake. I'm resigning. However, Ning Fan only thought for a moment and then dispelled the idea. Where else can she go now? Apart from the security of the world, there is no place for her to go. Are you resting well? Get up and work quickly. Ye Bei looked at Ning Fan in a daze and lifted his leg directly onto the coffee table, gesturing for Ning Fan to come over. Completely disregarding the reality that Ning Fan had only rested for less than 3 minutes. Ning Fan's pink lips slightly parted, as if cursing, but he didn't make a sound. Chen-Siyu looked at Ning Fan and roughly understood the meaning. It roughly means that Ye Bei is a scumbag. He pursued himself one way at the time, but after abandoning himself, he became another. Another thing is that wealthy people really know how to play, and if they want to make Ye Bei bankrupt or something like that. Chen-Siyu's eyes flickered as she thought to herself, how could Ning Fan have had an affair with Mr. Ye? It seems that Mr. Ye has not forgotten her yet. TSK, this massage technique is really impressive. Ye Bei enjoys it very much. Ning Fan, who used to be indifferent to himself, can only massage his legs now. Seeing Ning Fan shaking her hands frequently and massaging for half an hour, Ye Bei didn't make things difficult for her anymore and said directly, Alright, that's it for today.